refuse to accept that anybody is truly shocked and surprised by what the one named Ginja J said about black women. Because since I know myself coming up, especially since secondary school, I have repeatedly on numerous occasions in multiple scenarios, unprovoked, heard black boys and black men repeat and talk the same thing what my ear Ginja J said. It's like the all of them come together and have meeting and have their words well put down. The women them love to snap their wrists. They're rude. They don't know how to submit themselves. They're rank. They're too over the top. They're not natural. They have fake this. And all of this out of something that they come up with unprovoked most of the time without anybody asking them any questions. And I've always felt like it is completely been allowed in the black British community for black men to openly come out and disgrace black women without attack, without rebuttal, and they're just allowed to do it. Because this is something that is unique with black people, that you do not see this kind of thing with any other community where their men just come out and openly, publicly disgrace their women to different sets of people and all kinds of things. They don't decide to just have the little conversation by the dinner table with just them and them alone, for us, by us. They have it very publicly and they're very, very confident to do so. And that is something that I have seen for decades of my life with black men and black boys. And I know damn well that the whole way have witnessed and seen those kinds of things. And why I don't really want to see black men in general taking a position of extreme outrage is because I know that you have been a part of conversations, whether or not you have participated or not, but I know that you have been part of conversations before, whether it's a WhatsApp group, whether it's in public spaces or wherever on a day. Because if I can be on the sidelines as a gay man and I've heard these things verbatim in my face repeatedly throughout my life, and the way that they would chat black women publicly, and very typically it's not uncommon to hear them talking them things there to their white girlfriends. Well, I don't even do them to a certain day, because, boy, them black girls there, them black girls are just, nah, man, allow it, man. And I've heard white girls come back and even repeat the same things that their black boyfriends and their black man them that they're lying down with would say to them. This is indicative, and it is almost a disease within our community, that we allow for this kind of disgraceful public dismissal of black women, black Nubian women that gave life and birth to the world. And here you are standing up there with your creased face and your criminal record, not looking in delicious to anybody that would possibly want to suit her. A criminal in the public forum is stood there questioning black women and about how he does not want them. Who wants you? That's the question. Black women have high standards. They have high standards for themselves, for their community, and for their children, and they fight and have historically fought. And if it was not for black women, I don't know if we could be stood here today as black people. So for you to be stood there, to be stood on the backs of that, and then to be so confident and brazen, to speak the way that you spoke publicly for the world, to hear you disgracing yourself as somebody that has come through the loins of a black woman, and for you to sit down there and disgrace yourself in such a way publicly and think that that is a good thing, and to think it is a good thing to say things so disparagingly about black women, which is just completely untrue. I see him in one video talking about take your fake wig off of your head. Why is it that you believe that just because you have uttered a few words to create a sentence, that means that they must follow your orders? That is why black women do not want you, because you have taken a misogynistic position where you just believe that if you utter a few words in English, that it must mean they must do so. The fake wig. I was stunned by the man's idiotic grammar and his idiotic positions on fake wig. It is a wig. How can a wig be fake? It is a wig. A wig is inherently something that is imitating something. So by its nature and product, it is fake. And it is something that white people historically, for hundreds of years, within the upper classes have worn. Did you stand up in history class in secondary school and tell the white people to take off their wigs? Did you ever do that? Have you ever felt appalled when you have clearly had to go to court and encounter these people with their wigs on their head? Did you ever tell them to take off their wigs? Did you ever tell them to take off their fake wigs? A phrase that makes no sense. Did you ever tell them to do them something that? No, you did not. But you stood on a public platform that you know has loads of people watching, white, black, Chinese, Indian alike, and you felt that it was no way to speak that way there. And the reason why you felt no way to speak that way there is because we have this disease in the black community where men have this way of speaking about black women. Now, of course, I'm going to get a comment to say not all black men. Now, of course, we know that we're not dumb, and I must assume that you know that I'm not stupid as well. That, of course, it is not most men. It is just a minority of men. But it's an acceptance in our community that I don't see challenged as much as it really should be. It's an acceptance that I see much so within us than any other community, and that is where the problem is. The fact that this man never felt the disgrace within him inherently to say, may I go up on a public platform and talk them something there is indicative to something that is going on within the black community as a general thing. And we know certain things where we're not statistically about how we do what we might be doing. And the last thing that may I go touch upon is I've seen a few comments online where there is this idea or this implication that the man could be gay because he was in prison. No. Let's just make it very clear. He is a member of the 97% of men, because let's just remember that gay men make up 3% of the population. So he is actually part of the 97%, the supermajority. And as such, he represents what I know the supermajority to be like in the past. Let's be very clear. Black gay men have always stood behind black women. That is what I can tell you for free. Because when the black men are running up and down like me, know what for call it, like jackass in a pen, when the black men them are telling the lies when they're ready for tell, and when the black men are sitting down on public platforms and chatting black women so disparagingly in a way to disgrace their owner self, without even an acknowledgement of what they're doing to who they are and their entire being and their entire race and everything that they are a part of, as a criminal stood there looking like, I don't even want to call it, Jack in the Beanstalk, climb a mountain. Here we are in real life. But anyways, I sidetrack. Black gay men do not put down black women in that way. We stand behind them, we support them, and let me tell you something, we will fight for them, and we've been fighting for them. Black women and gay men have always historically been at the forefront of any fight that is taking place in any kind of public reality, whether it's soft resistance, medium, already hard, them dead in a real life, and they've been there as a factual point of historical fact that is evidenced. So you cannot sit down there and brandish this kind of behavior and kind of sidetrack it to suggest that because he's gay, that is what has led him to hate gay women. That is not a personality trait of gay men at all. Black gay men feel the most safest around black women, generally speaking. So you will not do that. Male-female hatred within the 97% of the heterosexual black men that exist is something that is real. Now, it's a small amount, obviously, of that 97%, thank God. But we know that it is an issue within our people there. We know that. So stop pretending like we're shocked. And what we need to call out is the fact that those black women had to be exposed to this crebe, we don't know what for call it, this old drag up boy would just come out of prison that serves no purpose, that can't offer a ting on a plate in real life, that has stories online that just disgrace who he is and his character, to sit down there and shout and holler like you have anything important to say. But here we are, the internet allows for all sides of dege people that have no sense in their brain, that would really self-confidently self-disgrace themselves in a public platform as a way like you think it is a good thing. I just saw the idiot in a one something talking about how watch the video. That's just what I'm going to say. You should watch the video. Because he confidently believes that he was triggered because he was allowed to be triggered. He confidently believes that his position is just a preference, it's just a preference. Well, if it was just a preference, you would create your preference out of your preference, not born through a retaliation to what you described it to be. I don't like black women because of these reasons. Well, that's not a preference. That is you saying, I don't like a particular group of people, so therefore I'm putting myself there. That is not a preference, my darling. Preferences would be something that is quite natural and innate. You have consciously, actively decided to make a decision that black people around you are not good enough for you based on reasons that is rooted in misogyny, rooted in white supremacy, and rooted in just basically dumbness. Excuse me. I wanted to do 3 minutes, 9 minutes in, here we are.